Another wild night in the NBA playoffs, and the Reds and Cubs are the two hottest teams in baseball. That and so much more coming up on the Central Indiana Sports Report's 10-minute daily report. 10 minutes tailored specifically for Central Indiana sports fans. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming up today, Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, a couple of intrastate college baseball games, Lapel Baseball and Mississinewa Softball making statements with big wins on Tuesday, and some good stuff from around Central Indiana in our news and notes section. And after the 10-minute update, my friend Kevin DeVries joins me to talk about the Cubs and the National League Central. Quick programming note, this 10-minute podcast, sometimes followed by guests like Kevin today, is 7 days a week, most weeks, as early as I can get it to you. For now, that's probably early afternoon, most weekdays. First thing in the morning on weekends. Today, 4 o'clock is probably the latest it'll ever run. Thank you so much for joining us. Your 10-minute update begins now. The biggest story in the NBA playoffs on Tuesday was not a pair of fairly large updates, big victories that we'll get to. The story was the San Antonio Spurs' Victor Wembanyama going down with a concussion in the first quarter of Game 2. It was announced almost immediately that he was ruled out for the rest of the game after he left, falling kind of face first into the floor. The rest of the Spurs, though, by the way, they are way too good for being that young. They looked really good. They looked like they were on their way to a Game 2 win until a disastrous fourth quarter. They had a 14-point lead early in the fourth, but these Blazers are pretty darn good, especially if Scoot Henderson's going to play like he did last night. 30 points on 11 of 17 shooting. He's a 35% three-point shooter for the year, and he went 5 for 9 on Tuesday. These NBA playoffs have been really good so far, but the biggest story is clearly when Wembanyama will return. Game 3 Friday in Portland. We'll update you hopefully on tomorrow's show on his status. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, some breaking news. LeBron James is really good, like really, really good at basketball. At the end of his 23rd season, he had 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, and led the Lakers to a 2-0 lead in their series against the Rockets, with their best 2 players missing. On the other hand, trading for Kevin Durant by the Rockets seems like it was a huge mistake. He scored 23, but that team just has nothing. Just doesn't fit right. They could be a really dangerous team if they make the right trade, and once Kevin Durant is gone. Also, they lost their point guard at the start of the season. That didn't help things any. Of course, the series is far from over. It's just now getting to Houston, and it doesn't look like Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves is going to play at least until Game 5 of the series, probably longer. Doncic probably isn't coming back at all. The Lakers watch what happened to Tyrese Halliburton last year, and they are not taking any chances because they have zero, and I mean zero chance in the next round, with or without Doncic and Reeves against the Thunder. Game 3 is Friday at 8, and I have a feeling Houston is going to win big in this one. The visiting team and underdog won 2 of the 3 games on Tuesday night. One of those, of course, was after Wembanyama went down. The other one, completely shocking. On our show, Greg versus Will versus the World this week, Will Rutherford and I said it was more likely that both the Sixers and Blazers would get swept than this would be a competitive series. And I can't believe Philly beat the Celtics. The Celtics just went stale, especially late in the game. Any team, especially basketball teams, that reintegrate a player this late in the season, particularly their best player, is going to have trouble with consistency. That's probably all this was, but it has to be at least a little bit of a concern for Celtics fans. Probably not in this series, but the next series against the Knicks or Hawks, that'll be tough. Same with Detroit or Cleveland in the next round. Anyway, Sixers have a nice future too once they realize that they have to move on from Joel Embiid and Paul George. By the way, Paul George was great on Tuesday, especially down the stretch. But the future of this team is in the hands of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecomb. They combined for 59 points on Tuesday. Maxey just went insane to put the game away in the fourth with back-to-back three-pointers. Edgecomb certainly didn't look like a rookie. 30 points and 10 rebounds. He's only 6'4", by the way. 10 rebounds and ice water in his veins. Game 3, Friday at 7. Just got a lot more interesting. 2 games tonight in the NBA playoffs at 7. The Pistons need a win in Game 2 in Detroit against Orlando, who stole Game 1. Actually dominated Game 1. The Magic looked pretty good in their last 2 games against the Hornets and in Game 1. That's followed at 9:30 by Phoenix and Oklahoma City for what I assume will be another Thunder blowout. I think if the Suns played their very best game, they're probably still not going to win a game in this series. I hope I'm wrong. In the Stanley Cup Playoffs, the West favorite Avalanche took a 2-0 lead on the Kings in their first round series. The Lightning, Bruins, and Mammoth all evened their series. The Lightning beat defending East champion Montreal 3-2 in overtime. The Bruins won 4-2 in Buffalo, and Utah won 3-2 in Vegas, the first ever playoff win for the Mammoth franchise. Tonight, 2 Game 3s and a Game 2. Penguins Flyers in Philly, Game 3 at 7 on TNT. Stars Wild in St. Paul at 9:30 on TNT. And Ducks Oilers Game 2 at 10 on TBS. Sorry if you're an NHL fan and want me to go a little deeper on NHL. I'm not sure how many of my listeners are interested in that, and we will continue to talk more about the playoffs as they evolve. And Will Rutherford loves talking hockey, so he'll start making more appearances on this show. The Reds are playing right now, Game 3 of their series in Tampa, going for another sweep and their 7th win in a row. They beat the Rays 6-1 on Tuesday. Sal Stewart now leads the majors in RBIs with 24, and it was the 6th time Ellie De La Cruz has hit a home run from each side of the plate in a game, surpassing Pete Rose's franchise career record. And the Cubs are going for their 8th straight win at Wrigley at 7:40, with the series finale at 2:20 Thursday. My friend Kevin DeVries, the most passionate Cubs fan that I know, joined me to talk about the Cubs coming up right after the 10-minute report. As of 3 o'clock Tuesday, the Reds have a 1.5 game lead on the Cubs and Cardinals, with the Brewers another half game back of them. And the Pirates now in last at 13-10, 3 days after being in first. We had our MLB report with Paul Tipton, Will Rutherford, and Val Sitsuris on Monday talking about the NL Central and the rest of the league. Please go check that out. A few big news and notes today. Staying in Major League Baseball, former Red Star second baseman Brandon Phillips will sign a 1-day contract and retire as a Red on Sunday. Brownsburg Star wide receiver Brandon Sharp tweeted that he's received an offer from Duke. His list also includes IU and Purdue. Former New Pal star Maximus Giese has been granted a 5th year of eligibility and will spend that year at the University of Minnesota, where he'll play for the Minnesota Golden Gophers and head coach Nico Medved. Sheridan 8th grader Bryce Webster is already receiving big-time college offers. She has reportedly been offered by Wisconsin, according to IGB Hoops News. And Carmel sophomore Drew Kellner has reportedly picked up an offer from Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers. Kellner is considered one of the nation's top defensive backs. And all 44 of the Fever's games this year will be broadcast nationally. 9 on the USA Network, 8 on Prime Video, 7 on ION, 6 on ESPN, 4 on ABC and CBS, 3 on Peacock, 2 on NBC, and 1 on NBA TV. The preseason and our first look at the new Caitlin Clark is Saturday against the New York Liberty in New York. I hope to preview that with our Fever guy, John Robertson, on this show later this week. And it looks like IU quarterback Fernando Mendoza is going to be the top draft pick in Thursday's NFL draft. Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel broke down all of IU's potential draftees: Mendoza, Omar Cooper Jr., D'Angelo Pons, Elijah Surratt, Carter Smith, Mikhail Kamara, Aiden Fisher, Roman Hemby, Kalen Black, Pat Coogan, Lewis Moore, and Riley Nowitkowski. On the IU report this week that was released on Tuesday night, please go check that one out as well. Also, Mike will be on this show tomorrow after the 10-minute report to preview the NFL draft. In college baseball, IU beat Ball State 20-10 in 8 innings, and Indiana State beat Purdue 6-5 on Tuesday. The Sycamores' second win over the 28-12 Boilermakers this year. Purdue goes to LA for 3 games starting Friday against USC. They've won 7 consecutive Big Ten games. And in college softball, Purdue beat UIC 12-2 in 5 innings, and IU Indy 9-1 in 6 innings to improve to 32-15 on the year. Some local high school baseball. Lapel scored 5 times in the third, 5 in the fourth, and 7 more times in the fifth to beat rival Frankton 17-2. Jackson Kripe doubled, homered, and scored 3 times. Also drove in 4 runs for the 6-4 Bulldogs, who host 5-2 Eastern Hancock tonight. Eastbrook is 10-1 after beating Adams Central 14-1. The Panthers scored 11 times in the first. Sophomore Corbin Parrott threw 5 strong innings and homered in Blackford's 13-1 win over Marion. Yes, Marion. Hamilton Heights edged Tipton 5-4. The Huskies scored all 5 of their runs in the second, helped out by triples by Caden Lawson, PJ Wright, and Cy Mason. Wabash is 13-1 after beating Elwood 3-0, and Huntington North topped Mississinewa 13-6. Only one CIC game today. That's 9-3 Alexandria at home against 6-2 Knightstown. Thursday is the first baseball softball CIC night of the year. More on that on tomorrow's show. And in softball, Mississinewa won its 6th straight game to start the season with an impressive 23-5 win over Lapel. Charlie Ballage, Jaylee Miller, and Anna Soltz all drove in 5 runs for the Indians. Soltz hit her first and second home runs of the season. Second-ranked Alexandria is 7-0 after beating Anderson 19-3. The Tigers had 23 hits. Grace Wood and Allie Smith had 4 apiece. By the way, Alexandria girls tennis is also 7-0. Looking forward to talking to my friend Kyle Williams about the Tigers' success, and to Michelle Garman of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader about women's sports in general in Central Indiana. Elwood is now 7-1. By the way, the CIC combined is now 39-22 so far. More on that tomorrow. And the Panthers beat Sheridan 22-8 Tuesday. Kelsey Arms 3 for 3. She hit her 5th home run of the year, scored 5 times, and drove in 4 in the win. Mount Vernon's Amelia Anderson threw a 2-hit shutout in the Marauders' 10-0 win over Frankton. The Eagles face winless Anderson today. Oak Hill had 17 hits and an 11-7 win over Cass. The Golden Eagles are now 8-0. Eastbrook handed Southwood its first loss of the year, taking the lead with 6 runs in the second, then scored 7 more in the fifth. Hamilton Heights is 8-1 after beating Tipton 14-0. Heather Craze tossed a 1-hit shutout. Today in the CIC and softball, along with Frankton Anderson and Elwood Daleville, 1-4 Blackford is at 2-4 Shenandoah. And here's what's coming up on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, along with the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and high school stuff I've already mentioned. Number 7 Ball State men's volleyball team takes on number 12 McKendree in the MIVA semifinals in Muncie. The winner advances to Saturday's championship game against either number 10 Loyola or number 15 Lewis. That'll be in Muncie, assuming Ball State wins the semifinal. Please stay tuned for my friend Kevin DeVries and his thoughts on the Chicago Cubs. Sorry about my audio. Rookie mistake, but his audio was fine and he does most of the talking. So great catching up with Kevin. Here it is.
Kevin, your Cubs, you got to be pretty excited about what you're seeing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On a streak, winners of the last 7 in a row, taking advantage of a team like the Mets that's going through a funk. But I'm loving what I'm seeing. You were right, though, about the pitching. Last time we talked, you're like, if they can stay healthy. And I think you jinxed Cade Horton. He's out for the season.
Ugh.
And Matt Boyd's on the shelf. Who knew that Shota Imanaga, who they offered a qualifying offer hoping that he wouldn't sign it, turns out to be one of our best pitchers here lately. So,
It looks like
I know. He looks like the 2024 Imanaga, who was really spotting it. So I'm very happy, loving to see what Nico Horner is doing. They just signed him to a long-term deal, and he's responded, man. I mean, he's just doing a little bit of everything. He's kind of like that all-around ball player that if there's someone you want at the plate to get something done, he's it. If there's a guy you want the ball hit to, it's him. And he's just a quality human being. So all this happening with, PCA's kind of in a funk, but I think he'll come around, and Bregman as well, starting to come around. Saya just hit his first home run last night. So I'm loving it. I'm sitting here in LA poolside. I'm looking forward to go visiting, watching the Cubs play the Dodgers this weekend. So that'll be a big test for our Cubbies there.
Big test. And you're going to San Diego as well. Very cool trip.
Came out here for family, and just so happens the Cubs are in town, and it's like, okay, I gotta check these off my Major League Baseball park list. I'm about at 20 some parks that I've gone to. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to all of them. So
I've been to 20, Kevin, and probably 15 of those no longer exist.
They're still on my list, though.
Yeah, okay, good. My childhood was filled with going to ballparks much more than my adulthood has been.
And you mentioned Pete Crow Armstrong's struggles, but every time he gets on base, that guy makes things happen.
He's like, it's funny how we traded El Mago, Javi Baez for him, and he's kind of has a lot of those same traits where it's just like he just is magic. El Mago, he makes things happen. He's a spark plug, and so yeah, hopefully he comes around. He's got all the tools, and I love, the other thing I love about the Cubs is their defense. Their defense doesn't really slump, and they're one of the strongest teams defensively, I think, in the league, and that's going to go a long way for them.
The biggest difference this year, Kevin, when I'm watching the Cubs is late in the game, I kind of expect them to win now. I didn't expect that.
That's good to hear from you. I still have the old Cub in me that that they're going to lose kind of thing. They'll find a way to lose. 2016 was different. Like, that was a year, like, from the jump, they just were just the best team. And that year I expected them to win, even though, when Rajay Davis hits the home run, you're like, oh, here it comes again. Here's the curse.
I completely expected them to blow it, Kevin. I was waiting for it. I was so hoping for it.
Oh, man, come on. We're chasing down your Reds. We're only a game and a half behind you guys.
Neither team will lose. No one in the division wants to lose.
I know. I know. It's like the best division in baseball right now. Everybody's going after it.
The Pirates went from first place to last place in 2 days.
I know, right?
And they're still 3 games over 500 and in last place 3 weeks into the season.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No, there's a lot of talent. Lot of good. Paul Skeens on that team's amazing. We get to watch a lot of the young players here in Indy,
right.
With the Indians. So they have lots of good talent. So we'll see where it all pans out. But if you look at the run differential, I think at one point in the National League Central, the run differential was in the exact opposite order. Like, the team with the best run differential was in last place, and the one with the worst was in first. But now it's starting to shape up. So over the long haul, it'll pan out. There might be one anomaly in baseball, but the back of the baseball card doesn't lie, as they say. So we'll see. But I think it will be a competitive division. I'm not sure when Justin Steele will be back, but we're going to really need him all the more now that Cade Horton is gone.
Kevin, I hate to say it, but at this point in the season, I think the Cubs are the best team in the.
I think so. I think what you said. The reality check of the pitching health is really the key. That's the key with any team, really.
Sure.
If you stay healthy, you're going to win. I don't know how much pitching depth the Cubs really have in the minors. You're Assad, and he's done really well. He had a couple good ones and one bad one, I think. I think they are going to be the team to beat. Let's say that, but nothing's guaranteed.
Pitching staff is incredibly deep. Their issue is they can't hit, and they got to prove it to me. It's been 3 or 4 years now, same kind of lineup, same result.
There's one team in the Central that if I'm scared of, if you will, would be the Reds, just because of your manager. He knows he knows how to win, and and you guys have talent. You just got to try to put it together. So they're right there, and I don't think they're going to go away. But like you said, and right now the Cubs are on a tear, but they could have a Mets streak in them, just like the Mets are going through now. Every team does at some point have some kind of bump in the road. So I mean, if you're not hitting and you're in first place, you'll take that as a Reds fan, right?
Dodgers and Padres might just do that right to you. Yeah, that's possible.
We're about to hit a buzzsaw.
Even if you play well out there, you could go 2-4, 1-5.
Yeah. That's just it. Yeah, totally. Those are two of the top teams in the National League. So the hope is always the split on the road, right? And so even if you just take one of the three from top teams like that, I would take that after the way they've been playing. I'm not complaining. I really can't wait to just go into Dodger Stadium. It's been one of those ones I want to see, and everybody says Petco in San Diego is one of the best new stadiums out there. So
one of the best old parks, one of the best new parks.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's all the pictures you see, from Dodger Stadium. It just seems, I don't know, what's so cool about this? But you got to be there to experience it, kind of like Wrigley.
It's cool, Kevin.
So, yeah,
cool.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. I was gonna maybe go to Angels today, but they're playing right now. Couldn't make it out there, but some other time, we'll see.
DeVries, some other time. I hope we can talk some more baseball.
I would love to do it. Go Cubs.
Thanks so much. Go Reds.
Thanks so much to Kevin. Thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product by TG Media. And I love Susie.